guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I thought it would be super fun if we just did an overarching dog training tips video. This is not going to be on any specific topic or anything like that. I thought it would be really fun if we just did general dog training tips just to help anyone who is training their own dog or anything. If you guys want to get more in detail about specific topics, we can totally do that. Just comment down below or DM me on Instagram or something like that, and we can totally go into detail on certain things. But I thought it would be really fun to just start the year off with just general advice and tips for people who have dogs and are training their own dogs, to people who want to become dog trainers, just the whole 9 yards, just talking about tips in general for dog training. I have a lot more dog training stuff on my business page, which is at Spotted Snout on Instagram, at Spotted Snout Services on Facebook. So you can go ahead and follow those two if you want some other kind of content. I will be coming out with dog training courses hopefully soon, so that's in the works. But I just thought it would be so fun to just do some overarching tips and just kind of talk dog training right now. So let's just jump right into it. I have my notebook here with just some things written down. So if you see me looking down, that's why. But for the first one, I wrote, wait them out. They know what you're asking. So by this, I mean, when you ask them to do a trick or a cue or something like that. So if I ask my dog to do sit, and sometimes dogs take a minute to process. It depends on their surroundings, their environment. If they're in a new place, it might take them a little bit longer to process what you're saying because of all of the stimuli that are in the room and stuff like that. So one main thing would be to be aware of where you are and how that affects your dog. That's a huge thing on dog training in general, is what's their environment, especially if your dog is more of the nervous type. Maybe it's a lot harder for them to work in certain environments, and you have to build up to those environments slowly. I knew this would happen, that I would kind of start rambling off on different topics, which is why I just have a general outline for this video, but we're just gonna ramble. We're just gonna talk about dog training, things that I know, things that could help, some tips, some advice, just stuff like that. It's literally going to be one long ramble, so I hope you're okay with that. But I'm just going to spit stuff out and just see where it goes. But yeah, it really depends on their environment. But the biggest thing in dog training is don't keep asking your dog 25 times the same cue. It actually drives me insane when I see people doing this, because imagine if you were told 1,000 times, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, and you're not even getting a second to process what they're even saying. It's the same thing for dogs. Like, it's almost more overstimulation when you say it 45 times. Wait them out, especially if they know the cue. Like, if you're asking for a sit from your dog and you know they know this cue really strong, wait them out. Say it once and just wait. Just wait. They most likely, within a few seconds, maybe they have to think about it, maybe they have to process, maybe they saw a squirrel in the distance and they need to, depending on their breed, they need to see where that squirrel went, and then they can refocus on you. All of those things are okay. It's so important to understand your dog's breed, how that affects them, how that affects their thought processes, all of those kinds of things. So if you have a mutt, I know that's a little bit harder. Kova is a complete mutt. We don't know what she is. We haven't done a DNA test yet. I 100% want to, because I think that could help us all understand her better. And I don't know much about the DNA test. I can't sit here and tell you they're 100% accurate, but I think just having something to go off of is a good idea. And this is not sponsored. Like, I'm not sponsored by a DNA test or anything like that. So this is just like me recommending it. It can totally help you if you just know what breeds your dogs may be mixed with and stuff like that, because if they're hunting dogs, they are literally bred to turn on when a little animal is running. So instead of being frustrated by that and working against them, it's about figuring out how to communicate with them when they're in that state and stuff like that. So I guess that's another thing, is knowing their breed can really help, and not in like a this breed is better than that breed kind of way, more of just like, then you really understand them. It's just like any human is so individual. Every single human is unique. It's the same thing with dogs. There's certain breeds or ways that their brains are actually processing things depending on their breed and what kind of like like class they're in, like sporting, hunting, working, like those kinds of like classes. For my puppy owners out there or younger dogs, I would say my biggest tip is to train in small increments, but train frequently. So puppies have a very short attention span. They're just like babies in that sense, where they wake up, they have a little bit of energy, they want to run around, they have to go potty, they eat, then they go back to sleep, then they wake up, and it happens a few times a day. So instead of being like, we're going to spend an hour right now training, puppies' attention spans can't go that long. So you're just fighting against yourself by doing that. Do like even 15-minute increments. You train for 15 minutes, then they go play outside, then they eat, then they take a nap, then you train for another 15 minutes. So do shorter increments, but do it more times throughout the day. This is gonna help you more than if you were just like, all right, we're gonna train for 2 hours. Likely after a half hour, they're not even picking up on anything anymore. So you're literally not helping you or your puppy at that point. So you guys know that I train mainly positive reinforcement. So I do use a marker word. A marker word is essentially the same thing as like a clicker. I say yes. So when I ask my dog to do something like a sit and she does it, I say yes and I give her a treat. A yes to me means you did exactly what I wanted you to do and you will be paid for it. Like I've told you guys in other videos, I love the positive reinforcement aspect of things because the trainer that I studied under and still work with, one thing that she said that really stuck with me is somebody was like, when can I stop giving my dog treats? When do I not have to bring treats on our walks anymore? And the trainer looked at this person and goes, would you work without a paycheck? And that just like really resonated with me. And I just think that's such a good way to explain it. I love that aspect of positive reinforcement and stuff like that. So I do use a marker word and I just think it can be so beneficial with communication. So that's what I think the marker word does too, is it's a good communicator to my dog of you did exactly what you want. Now, I use a different word when my dog did what I wanted her to do, but she's not going to get paid. So for me, that's just good girl. Good job. Nice. Those 3 things, she knows she did the right thing, but she's not going to get paid. So I'll just be like, nice job, good girl. When she does what I want her to do, she gets the praise, she gets the love, which is also valuable to her. I have one of those dogs that food and praise is very valuable to her. But I have a totally different word when I'm like, you will be paid, because that was exactly what I wanted. It just helps with training and it really makes it a lot easier. So I would recommend that to anybody. There's nothing wrong with using a clicker either. They're essentially the same thing. With a clicker, you just kind of have to remember to bring it with you, especially in those early stages of training it and stuff like that, unless you're using both a clicker and a marker word. But you just have to be able to be consistent with both of those things. Another thing I would recommend to people is try and figure out what's high value versus low value treats to your dog. Again, kind of focusing on the positive reinforcement aspect, but also just in general, you don't decide what's valuable to your dog decides. Every dog is going to be different. Some dogs might be like, this specific bone is the best thing in the world, whereas some other dog might be like hot dogs. I love hot dogs. Ride or die for hot dogs. It's all about figuring out what's high value, and you just try different things. Obviously for my allergy dogs, it's a lot harder and you really have to work to try and figure out what's high value. You can make things high value. So like maybe for a dog that has an allergy and only can have a few proteins, I would say keep one protein as their high value treat. So they don't get this treat all the time. They don't have access to it all the time. You're only using it when you really, really need it. It's going to be more enticing. So let's say my dog is allergic to everything but beef and turkey. Maybe the beef is her normal treats. So every day she gets beef treats, blah, 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 blah. But when we are outside and I'm working on recall with her, she gets the turkey treats. So they're different. I'm creating a high value, especially if I know she likes the turkey. You have to know they like it first, but it's like the scarcity of it. So she doesn't get it all the time. So when she does get it, it's really, really, really good. So you could also do things like that, but just really finding what's high value for them. You can try things like cheese and hot dogs and different kind of pure protein treats. I would totally recommend pure protein treats. Koba loves them. We love them. We know we're giving our dog good, high quality food then, and I'm all about that. So I would recommend doing that too. Figure out what's high value versus low value to them. A lot of dogs, their kibble is low value because they get it all the time. Why would they want to work for their kibble when they get it every single day? Another thing I would 100% say is be patient, because it is so easy to get frustrated when you are trying to communicate with your dog and they're just not understanding you. You might think you're being as clear as literally day and night. You might think you're being so clear, but you're literally speaking a different language to them. So dog training in general is all about figuring out how to communicate with your dog. That's what dog training is. It's figuring out how to communicate. And I just love thinking about it that way, because that's literally what it is at the end of the day. We speak a different language to them and we're trying to teach them what our language means. So when I say come and my dog hears that word, it means come to me as fast as you can. So dog training is all about taking those words, putting value behind them and putting meaning behind them, because when they first hear come, they don't know what that means. So they're just like, You have to make it valuable. For me, that's with food. That's with high value treats that I know will get them to come running to me. I want it to be that when I say the word come, my dog is sprinting to me because she knows she's going to get something really good. It's also about trust. My dog knows that I would not bring her into a situation that I didn't think she would be comfortable in or I didn't think she would like or anything like that. She knows I would not do that to her. Same thing with all the dogs that I walk. It's so awesome for me to be able to see the bond that I'm building with them, because when I first start walking them, maybe they're a little more uncomfortable, a little more uneasy, a little more nervous and stuff like that. But as soon as they start to learn me and I learn them and we learn how to communicate with each other, you can literally see the switch of when dogs start to trust me. So I walk some dogs that don't love other dogs. They don't like them. They're reactive to other dogs. And I hate using the word reactive because that can look different on every single dog. And there's not really a specified thing that reactive is. But I walk some dogs that just don't like other dogs, period. And that's fine. I don't like every person that I meet. I'm sure you don't like every single person that you meet, and you're not forced to. Nobody should be forced to. So if your dog does not like other dogs, that's fine. That's totally fine. I don't have to like other people. You don't have to like other people. You're not forced to, so we can't force our dogs to like other dogs if they just don't. But you can see when I'm walking my dogs after so much time of me being with them and walking them, maybe the first time we pass a dog, they are freaking out and barking and can't focus on the food in my hands and stuff like that. But as I work with them more and more and more, they trust me more and they know I wouldn't put them in a situation that would get them hurt or make them uncomfortable. So they start to be able to walk past other dogs with me without so much of the freaking out. And it gets better every time. And that's with the training too. And obviously I'm doing things to help manage that. I have food and stuff like that to pay them for the correct things that I want from the situation. So it's a little different in that sense, but it's just so amazing to see these dogs start to trust me more and know that I would never do anything to make them uncomfortable. And I would never put them in a situation that I didn't think they could handle. At the end of the day, dog training is an unregulated industry. And so that's also another important thing to know, that if you are going to get a dog trainer to help with your dog, do your research on them. Know a little bit of their background, how long they've been training for, if they've shadowed under anyone, what they use training method wise, because that's all important stuff and that all shapes how your dog turns out at the end of the day. So just do your research into stuff like that. Dog training 1000% should be more regulated, and it frustrates me that it's not. But there are so many specific things with dog training that I just think everybody could benefit from. I would recommend anybody read books about dog training and just start to learn a little bit more about it. Watch YouTube videos. There's so many great resources online for you to be able to go to and watch things and help you learn. I recommend everybody who has a dog in general learn about dog body language. I've learned so much being a trainer and helping out at all these classes, and now being a dog walker and trainer and stuff like that, just learning through experience, but also through reading books and stuff like that. But you can read stuff in books and that's great and you're gaining that information, but nothing compares to when you actually experience it in person. So I would totally recommend people get experience, get their hands on dogs. Nothing is better than learning with the actual dogs. Like, no, there's no better way to learn. So if you're looking to become a dog trainer, that's one of the best ways, is get your hands on dogs, start working with them, and you learn through experience. I just genuinely think everyone could benefit from learning dog body language, because even if you're just a dog owner, it really frustrates me when people don't ask to pet your dog and they just come up and pet your dog. It's just so disrespectful and rude to me. And also, if I have a dog and someone else has a dog and they just come over and their dog comes into my dog's and my space without asking or anything. It's one thing if you ask, and that's a completely different story, but when people don't ask for those things, it is super frustrating. You don't know what that other dog is like. You can't predict it. You can't guess. You can't just tell by looking at them from afar. So it is completely not okay to just invade someone else's space in those situations. I don't know what my dog is like, and so it is seriously just like not a safe thing for you to just come over and just start petting my dog. What if my dog doesn't like people or doesn't like strangers or is uncomfortable around new people and you just come over and start petting them? That could end badly. Same thing with, what if my dog does not enjoy the company of other dogs and your dog just invaded our space? It's literally not safe. So I just think it is so disrespectful and rude. And we just need to, as a society, be more aware of those types of things. I'm not saying any of you are doing those things, but maybe this is a time for everyone to reflect on themselves. And I'm sure we've all done it. We all make mistakes. That's like, mistakes are how you learn and stuff like that. But I'm just here to tell you that like those things are not okay. And they shouldn't be acceptable, like at all. Like you do not know someone else's dog. And so I think it's really important about like respecting their space. And if you see someone else out training, respecting that too. I used to be the kid all the time that would be like, I want to pet the doggy. I want to pet the doggy. I'm a dog lover, obviously, but I'm glad knowing what I know now. I know when raising my future kids, how I'm going to teach them to respect other animals. Especially with little kids, they don't know how to respect other animals, especially when you have a kid like me that loved dogs and stuff like that. We don't just like grow up knowing these things that like you have to respect them and stuff like that. So it's really important to teach children and stuff like that, that kind of stuff. And it is mainly like a safety thing for every party involved. And I don't know, I just think like we need to talk about it more and stuff like that. I don't really know how we even got on this topic, but I do think it's an important topic. So I'm fine that we went there. But I could literally keep rambling all day on this topic, so we can totally do another video like this if you guys want to. But those are just some training tips, I don't know what you would even call it, dog knowledge, I guess, for you guys for the new year, to start off the new year. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel and comment down below other videos you want to see from me. If you want to see more videos like this on dog training, obviously I'm going to do more vlogs because I love vlogging and doing some business behind the scenes. But if you guys want to see more business behind the scenes stuff, comment that. Like, I just want to do whatever you guys want to see, so please let me know. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.